I often wonder what Erik the Red felt as he sailed into the unknown, exiled from Iceland and searching for a new home. It's the year 982 CE, and Erik, having worn out his welcome in Iceland due to some, let's call them disagreements with his neighbors, set sail westward into uncharted waters. Now you might be wondering, why would anyone voluntarily sail into a potentially endless ocean? Well, Erik didn't have much choice. He was exiled for 3 years and staying in Iceland wasn't an option. As Erik's ship cut through the icy waters, the crew must have been on edge, scanning the horizon for any sign of land. Days turned into weeks, and just as hope might have been waning, a coastline appeared in the distance. Erik had found it, a vast, unexplored land that would soon be known to the world as Greenland. So, what happened next? Well, Erik and his crew began exploring this new land, and what they found was not exactly green. In fact, much of it was covered in ice. But here's where Erik's genius comes in. You see, he knew that to attract settlers to this harsh land, he needed a good marketing strategy, and what better way to attract people than to give it an appealing name? So he called it Greenland. Now you might be thinking, that's a bit dishonest, isn't it? But let's give Erik some credit. The southern coastal areas where he explored did have some green areas during the summer, and more importantly, they were habitable. Erik spent the next 2 years exploring the coastline, identifying potential settlement sites, and probably practicing his sales pitch. Come to beautiful Greenland, I can almost hear him say, where the grass is green and the hunting is good. The important thing is that Erik's strategy worked. When he returned to Iceland after his exile, he had a compelling story to tell and a promising new land to offer. And people listened. Let's talk about the challenges of setting up a colony in a land that's, well, not exactly hospitable. When Erik returned to Greenland in 985 CE, he brought with him 25 ships full of hopeful settlers. Now, imagine you're one of these settlers. You've just arrived in this new land, and the first thing you notice is it's cold, really cold, and there's ice, lots of ice. But Erik had a plan. He led the settlers to the area now known as Erik's Fjord, where they established the Eastern Settlement. This wasn't just about finding a place to live, it was about creating a sustainable community in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The settlers had to build homes, set up farms, and figure out how to survive in this new world. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. They faced challenges like short growing seasons, limited timber for building, and the constant threat of starvation. But the Norse were nothing if not adaptable. They brought livestock from Iceland, learned to hunt local game like caribou and seals, and even began trading with the indigenous Inuit people. Despite the hardships, the settlement grew. Within a few years, a second settlement was established further north, known as the Western Settlement. So, what was life like in this fledgling Norse colony? Well, it wasn't all ice fishing and shivering, I can tell you that. Under Erik's leadership, the Greenland settlements began to thrive. Daily life revolved around farming, hunting, and trading. The settlers also traded with Europe, exchanging valuable goods like walrus ivory, polar bear pelts, and live falcons for essential items they couldn't produce in Greenland. But perhaps the most interesting aspect of life in Greenland was how the community developed. Erik's son, Leif Erikson, became a prominent figure, even introducing Christianity to the settlement. The community built churches, held things, assemblies, and maintained many of the social structures they had known in Iceland and Norway. However, life in Greenland was always a balance between survival and ambition. The harsh environment meant that cooperation was essential, and the community had to work together to overcome challenges. As we wrap up our exploration of Erik the Red's Greenland adventure, it's worth taking a moment to consider his legacy. Erik's discovery and colonization of Greenland wasn't just a personal achievement. It was a pivotal moment in Viking history. His journey expanded the known world for the Norse, pushing their influence further west than ever before. The settlements he established became a stepping stone for further exploration, including his son Leif's famous voyage to Vinland or North America. But perhaps more importantly, Erik's story embodies the Viking spirit of exploration and resilience. He faced exile, braved unknown seas, and carved out a new home in one of the most challenging environments on Earth. The Greenland colony, despite its eventual decline centuries later, stands as a powerful example of human adaptability and determination. Erik the Red's legacy lives on, not just in the annals of history, but in the very spirit of exploration that continues to drive humanity forward. Please like and subscribe for more Icelandic mythology and tales from the past.